mom delivers a baby, but 6 weeks later, doctors find his deadly unborn twin hidden inside. Before we begin, do us a favor and click that like button. Also, subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell to be inspired by these heartwarming stories every day. For many mothers, childbirth is a time of trial and joy. 9 months worth of planning and waiting have come to fruition, and nothing equals the moment when a newborn child is placed in a mother's arms for the first time. Unfortunately, childbirth can pose dangers for some women, including complications during birth and afterward. This is a tragic story about one mother who hoped to celebrate the birth of her child, but ended up fighting for her own life instead. Leanne Crawley of Orpington, Kent, was 38 years old and expecting the birth of her 4th child in December of 2016. But from the start, the birth of baby Louis proved harrowing and difficult. Even though all the baby's scans were normal, Louis was born gray and lifeless, and he had suffered significant blood loss, around 80%. Leanne stated that Louis had to be resuscitated, and it took doctors quite a time to bring him around. His brain had missed a lot of oxygen. His body was shutting down. Doctors believed that the baby had bled through his mother, and doctors didn't realize it at the time. The baby was immediately taken to an intensive care and antenatal unit. He spent the next 3 weeks there clinging to life, while the devastated Leanne waited at his side. Louis' organs had begun to shut down, and he was placed in an induced coma. Blood transfusions were given to the child to replace what he had lost. After being placed on life support, Louis was moved into a cooling machine, and then an incubator. It looked like he might have turned the corner and would make a recovery. But another 3 weeks later, it was Leanne who was rushed to the hospital for another child she didn't know she was carrying. 2 days after she brought Louis home, Leanne was taken to the hospital for heavy bleeding. Doctors removed what they thought was part of Louis' placenta and sent Leanne back home, but the heavy bleeding continued, and Leanne became fearful of what was happening. Her partner took her back to the hospital, where a second operation revealed that Leanne had in fact been carrying twins. Leanne had a molar pregnancy, where one fetus hides a second fetus behind it. A molar pregnancy occurs when a non-viable fertilized egg is implanted into the uterus. Whereas Leanne thought she was pregnant with one child, she had been pregnant with twins. Sadly, the twin was not viable, and Leanne underwent surgery to have the massive cells removed. The twin was the size of a 3-month-old fetus. It is rare for twins to be conceived in this fashion, with one child developed fully and surviving, but Louis beat the odds. Then the beleaguered Leanne received even worse news. The second twin had left behind a rare and fast-moving cancer. About half of women with a molar pregnancy develop a womb cancer called choriocarcinoma due to the growth of abnormal cells during gestation. The disease had already begun to spread throughout Leanne's body rapidly. When she wanted to be home with her newborn son, Leanne instead was in the hospital. The cancer spread to her lungs, and she went through 20 blood transfusions and 5 months of intensive chemotherapy. Leanne's family began to worry that she would not make it. She nearly passed away when a blood clot developed in her lung. For a time, Leanne's life hung by a thin thread. But Leanne was a fighter, and she wasn't about to leave her children behind. After the chemotherapy and transfusions, the loss of her hair and energy, she still fought to overcome the cancer. Today, Leanne is in remission, but she is still trying to find her balance in life again. Part of that means coming to terms with what could have been her own death. Louis' twin nearly killed us both, Leanne said. When I fell pregnant, I never thought that would be the outcome. The whole experience nearly destroyed us all, but I had so much support from my friends and family. I wouldn't wish this experience on anyone, but obviously I would take it all again if it was a choice between me and Louis. Leanne continues to improve her fitness slowly. Her body has taken some time to recover from all that she's been through. With time and healing, she hopes to be able to take walks with her family and play with her children in the yard again. Thankfully, Leanne was able to beat the cancer and return home to her family. But it was a close call. Sometimes, nature appears in mysterious ways, and what should have been a joyous moment for a new mother almost resulted in the death of both mother and infant. We can learn from Leanne to never give up and continue to fight, even when the odds are against you. Thank you so much for watching.